It's time for Midweek News, episode 111 for January 22nd, 2025. Let's get started. We've got a new Kdenlive release. Version 24.12.1 is out with more than a dozen bug fixes. Version 24.12 introduced built-in effects option in settings. This release brings back the presets menu for those built-in effects. The bug fixes will only help with feature and overall stability. Available for Linux, macOS, and Windows. Remove those pesky AI summary results from a Google search. If you're not ready to do a wholesale switch to DuckDuckGo, you might like this tip. When you type a search into the text area on Google, if you add -AI at the end, it will effectively disable the AI summary for that search. Unfortunately, those in power at Google have not seen fit to allow us to disable this feature on a global basis yet. I hope that is coming soon. MX Linux 23.5 released with a Debian 12.9 base. This update brings with it XFCE 4.20 and Linux kernel 6.12 LTS. Several new applications have been introduced in the test repository along with various UI improvements. This release also updates the installer by tweaking the fstab file generated during installation and implementing additional fallback modes. You can find this release announcement page link in the article. The top small and medium enterprise security worries for 2025. The article cites AI-related concerns at 35%, malware at 25%, scams and other fraud at 25%, phishing at 25%, and ransomware at 23%. It is worth noting that the data presented in this article is UK-centric, but it shouldn't be much different from other parts of the world. The full report is, in fact, linked in the article. Remote logging with Rsyslog on Debian 12. If you run a number of Linux systems, there will come a time when it makes sense to think about merging logs into a centralized location. Rsyslog provides one possible solution to this. It should also be fairly easy to integrate macOS systems due to their Unix base. Windows systems, unfortunately, will require an intermediary to convert from the binary format of Windows events to the text format of Rsyslog, but it can be done. Flatpak 1.16 is available with various improvements. Flatpak, the sandboxed universal app distribution mechanism for Linux, has seen an update. This is the first stable release in the new 1.16 series. Some new features include improved access to USB devices, an opt-in environment variable which stops progress escape sequence, interpret this as fewer notifications, and better Wayland integration through a private Wayland socket. The article includes instructions for adding Flatpak support to Ubuntu 20.04 and above. Our featured Flatpak application of the week is SSH Host Editor. This is a handy little graphical editor for the SSH configuration file. You can add, delete, and edit hosts and aliases. This should really be included as a default application in beginner-friendly distributions such as Mint to help new users. Install and use Clam AV on Debian 12. Whether you're wanting a mechanism to scan your own files or those you are sending to or receiving from other people, Clam AV is a good free option to take for a spin. The article takes you through the installation and use of Clam AV on Debian 12 systems. Clam AV is available for other distributions as well, and you would just need to cross-reference the instructions. Bluesky is adding a photo sharing app called Flashes. There's no shortage of photo sharing apps these days, and it's a welcome addition to see one on Bluesky since the platform is decentralized. It will be interesting to see how well this works and what security they have in place at launch. Why buy a NAS when you can roll your own? This mini ITX NAS board features up to an Intel Core N355 and has 4 2.5 gig LAN ports. It also features 6 SATA connectors and 2 M.2 2280 slots. Pricing starts at $279 for the base model. You'll still need to add memory, storage, and an OS. Still, if you want complete control and don't want to use a full-size ATX board, this might be a contender for your next NAS. The Beginner's Guide to the Linux Terminal. I'm sure most of us have been around the Linux terminal for a number of years, but this is a nice article to recommend for when that cousin or in-law starts asking about Linux. From customizing the terminal application itself to some basic commands, this is a nice little introduction into the dark art of the terminal. Install the Metasploit Framework on Linux from the terminal. No, you don't have to resort to installing Kali or Parrot Security to get your hands on Metasploit. The instructions in this article let you install the Metasploit Framework on the distribution of your choice, covering the installation using apt DNF and pacman. You are also introduced to some basic commands in the Metasploit Framework. While not for the faint of heart, Metasploit can be used for security testing, and if your organization is tight on cash, it might be one of your better options if you have the willingness to invest the learning time. Kodi 21.2 Omega has been released. There are too many bug fixes and enhancements to list here. Refer to the article for the full list and for a notice to Windows users experiencing crashes. Available for Linux, macOS, and Windows. The open source Project MiniRack. The article is highlighting the Project MiniRack from Jeff Geerling. The idea is to use a space-saving 10-inch rack system for network, home lab, and other applications. If you're doing this for a hobby, a 10-inch rack might even get your significant other telling you what a nice rack you have. Something like this would also make a great option if you are working with kids and want to get them interested in IT and networking. Take a look. I will definitely be following the development as more gear starts to get adapted for use in a smaller rack. Rhino Linux is back with a 2025.1 release. Some highlights of the new release include dynamic workspaces in the Unicorn desktop, a brand new Hello Rhino application, a new Grub theme, Rhino Stampede, a new meta package testing application. Packstall, the AUR-inspired package manager, has been bumped to version 6.1.0, and you can get the new version from the official website and take it for a test drive yourself. And that, my friends, will wrap things up for Midweek News episode 111 for January the 22nd, 2025. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.